What's going on, everyone? Yes, today is another toy review, and yes, the man in front of you will be the toy I'll be reviewing. Before I jump into this review, I'd like to say thank you to all of my new subs and even my old subs. I would like to say thank you for constantly coming to my page and checking out my reviews. I truly appreciate it. I was even shocked that y'all still came by and subbed even though I haven't done nothing new. Reason being, I actually have a son now. Congrats to me. And I also just didn't have nothing I wanted to review. So I kind of just let stuff pass me by until I found something I really wanted. So I will say from here on out, from now all the way up to probably about June, nothing but new toys. Got a ton of stuff to be coming in and actually be reviewed. So stay tuned on that. Also, I would like to say to everybody, Happy New Year. Hope y'all New Year's went well and, all that great stuff. So let's jump into this review real quick. And I'm going to show you what this toy has to offer. So right off the jump, you notice this is Metal Gear Solid 2 Raiden from Arts Kai. This figure looks amazing. Great scope, great paint job. Now what I did notice, and some of y'all probably noticed, some of y'all probably didn't pay no attention, some of y'all probably didn't even give a shit. If you look at actual Raiden's face, it resembles a lot of the new Metal Gear Solid HD collection artwork. He doesn't look like the Raiden from the actual original game. If you notice with his hair was more layered on the original game, where this hair is more like just wild. It almost looks like the cyber Raiden in a fashion. So they kind of took that artwork for influence for this figure, if you notice. So that's why Raiden kind of looks the way he look. He has more of he's still a pretty boy, but he has the more older look approach. It's because of that artwork, I will assume. So if you actually go back and look at some of the artwork, you will see exactly what I mean. So right now we're doing once over, just to kind of see what type of detail this figure has to offer, and the great darks, the lights, so forth. Now I will say, just for a little bit of knowledge for the people that never had any Arts Kai figures, because I had tons of people constantly still ask me what do I think about them, or what they should get, and all the other great stuff. So first and foremost, every figure from Arts Kai won't look this detailed. Reason being, because if you happen to see a Arts Kai figure and one looks really, really good, such as this one, and then you might see another Arts Kai figure that looks like absolute shit. The reason being, a lot of times, the actual creators of that particular character will not sit down with the sculptor of the Arts Kai team, so they kind of just go up in smoke. Such as, like, let's take Dead Space figure. Dead Space figure scope was okay, but paint job looked like shit. That's because they probably didn't even sit down with the team, and if they did, they just did a lazy ass job. Now Kojima actually has his own sculptor, so he's more liable to actually put out a better product when it comes to the figures. So that's just a little bit of knowledge on why certain figures may look one way versus others. But beyond all that, showed you the detail. Now let's go ahead and jump into height. So this Raiden figure is actually going to be 11 inches. Alright. Now, as for height comparison, this is Peace Walker Snake. He stands about 10 inches. Or about 10.5 inches. So Raiden actually is a lot taller than him. You're probably wondering where the hell is his arm. Yeah, now he's disabled. But that's a different story, and I really don't want to talk about it because I miss my damn figure being regular. But whatever. So his arm is gone. But beyond all that, that's the height. Now I do have two Raidens, and you're probably wondering why the hell do I have two Raidens? Is because, bitch, I want to have two Raidens. I want to actually keep one put away while I can mess around with the other one. Yeah, I'm weird like that. It happens. But thing is, I'm going to show you the articulation in a second, but I want to actually show you the accessories. So the Raiden right here already showing the accessories already equipped it. I'm going to use this Raiden to actually show you the accessories right off the jump. Now, if we zoom in, let me go ahead and show you real quick. The first accessory is very tiny, but it's there. He has a little metal dog chain. It doesn't have any writing on it. It's nothing spectacular. It's just a piece of plastic painted like it was metal, but this is a metal chain. So that's really nice. You can actually remove it by either one, taking his head directly off the peg, or off the ball joint rather, and taking it off that way, or you can actually unlatch it like a regular chain that you will wear. So that's pretty cool. So they give you that. You're going to also get Raiden's skull mask from his sneaking suit, which is very detailed. They did an amazing job on this actual skull mask. Got the little hair sticking out the bottom. But so you're going to get that. And like I said, it looks great. So you get that. You're going to get the sword in the sheath. Let me move him back a bit for y'all. And now this is just one solid tone. It's nothing spectacular. It's just a regular solid tone. It's like a dark gray. And pulling the blade out, it's two-tone. It's actually silver and a dark gray. Nothing spectacular. Kind of resembles the same sword that Cyber Ninja has. So nothing too much different. You're going to get that. You're going to get the SOCOM pistol with the suppressor. Same one that came with Solid Snake on his release. And it can be removed. Oh, there we go. Can be removed. So you get that. And this also mounts in his holster. Alright. So you get that. And you're going to get another set of hands and one extra hand. So the one extra hand, first up, is the pistol hand. It's the exact same scope from Solid Snake, just a different paint job and a little bit of extra features to specialize strictly to Raiden himself. So you got that going on. You actually have, let me move him out the way real quick and bring in the other Raiden, because I got his hands already equipped. You get a sword hand, which holds the sword clearly. And then you're going to get an open palm hand, which you can either use just to have a kind of relaxed look, or you can even use it to hold the bottom of the gun. Alright? So, that is the hands that you get. Now, as for articulation, this figure resembles a lot of Cyber Ninja. When I say it resembles a lot, it's like dead on Cyber Ninja practically. All they did was recreate a different paint scheme, of course, and it looks like they used a lot of the molding from the Metal Gear Solid Snake and just kind of enhanced it here and there. So his suit, if you look at both figures, you can kind of tell that they used both of them old figures to kind of create this new figure. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I mean by is pretty much on the same layout. So let's go ahead and go to the head first. Now, his head sits on a double ball joint, alright, which you get about that much tilt, that much look down, that much look up. So he can't really look up, but he can look quite a bit downwards. Alright, now if you move down, he doesn't have a neck joint, and that's what I mean by it's just like Cyber Ninja, so that doesn't change. Now moving down to the actual shoulders, he has the swing outdoors, which is on the hinge, of course. Alright, and it's nice and flush. You're going to get a ball joint, which is attached to that, which is attached to a hinge on his arm, which you get to work around with it, and you can lift his arm quite a bit high. Actually, what I'm going to do, let me get the other figure, because this figure I didn't move around, so I don't want to have to fight with it, but I can do it with this one. So if you look at this arm, it goes up about that much. So it goes up quite a bit. Now, if you move down the arm, he has a swivel right below the bicep. Then you get the double ratchet, you get the regular ratchet joint, single hinge. Alright. The movable elbow pad to work with the pose. You get a single hinge in the wrist itself. And they also redid the wrist pegs, which I love. It's the same wrist pegs they put on Dark Knight Batman. They're thick pegs, which I love them. Like they're really secure. You don't have to worry about breaking it or trying to fight with the actual peg trying to get a hand off. That actually what happened. That's what happened to my Metal Gear Peace Walker Snake, the one that's missing the arm. I was trying to replace his hand out. Snap right on off. So that's why it's good that these pegs are changed out. So if you kind of wonder why certain figures are better now versus back in the day, that's why to all the newcomers. Now if we move down, he has a ball joint in the abdomen. Now this gets a full 360 swing. You get about that much tilt side to side. You get about that much tilt going forward, which is not much at all, and you get about that much tilt going back. Now, when you get to his waist, which is exactly like Cyber Ninja's, you get no type of bend forward. You do get a little bit of bend back. It's not by much, just a tad bit, damn near none, but you get that. You have the hinge joints, ratchet up, hold on, give me a second. Ratchet going forward, so his leg go about that far out and about that far sideways. So you got a nice little bit of range. Alright, now moving down a bit, mid thigh, you get a swivel, which you can swivel at the top, but you can also swivel right here. It's just pretty stiff because they're still new. I took them out the box and I ain't really mess around with them much, but you can see going on that leg. Alright, you get the double hinge ratchet, and it's nicely done because they actually use the knee pad to flush out that weird looking knee, which looks really great. It actually looks really good. They need to do this with more Play Arts Kai figures in general. I always say that, but some people understand it, some people don't. Whatever. But they got that going on. If you move down a bit, you get a ratchet joint on the ankle. Now the ratchet joint on the ankle goes about that far forward, that far back. You can actually swivel this below the actual joint itself, like going into the ankle, and also you can swivel above going into the shin. So either or can actually get you to turn this ankle, which is also nice. And then you're going to get a swivel in the toe. Sorry, getting in the way. So that is your full articulation with this figure. What I will say, he does come with a Play Arts Kai stand, which you've been seeing that happen a lot with the figures. He don't need it, so if you don't want to technically like pull nothing out of your box, you just want to kind of leave them be, you can do that. It's perfectly fine. You don't have nothing to worry about, because this figure actually holds up on its own. As you seen earlier, the way I had him posed, I can pretty much stand him up and I don't have to worry about him tipping forward. Like, let me zoom out. He holds the pose. I was doing earlier, well, there you go. But he does hold a pose, and like I said, you don't need it. So it's kind of your choice if you want to actually rip that out of the box. I don't never rip out my stands, just for the simple fact I don't want to tear up the box if I decide to sell something. So your choice. But other than that, that is the Play Arts Kai Raiden. I will say it looks great. I'm actually happy that I purchased it. It's a great add-on to the Metal Gear series figures. So if you find yourself being a Metal Gear head such as myself, definitely pick him up. He'll definitely be worth every dollar to you. He feels hefty. He feels secure. You don't have to worry about nothing breaking. It's pretty solid. I'm always worried about Play Arts Kai figures breaking on me sometime because I've had stuff in the past. So far, though, I'm pretty solid on these Metal Gear figures. Besides, clearly, what happened to Snake, which is old news. But whatever. One little thing before I actually get off, just for some of the new collectors that I was speaking with a little bit earlier this week. Now, I do toy photography on Instagram, so a lot of new subs actually came from there. So if you've never seen my toy photography, definitely check it out. It's under my name, Timothy Lee, the number 2, under Instagram, and you can actually see my photography that I do. Well, this is what I mean by buying old figures versus the new figures. If you notice, real quick, how I was showing you, give me 1 second, sorry about that. But I was showing you how much range you had and movement on the ankle. Now you see that. Now this is definitely a newer figure. But if you look at the old school stuff, which is the old school stuff is not bad, but it can be bad depending on the situation. This ankle can't even go nowhere. It's completely locked in. It's nothing to move. All you can move is his toe, and you can kind of turn it. So just be sure if you're going to pick up an old toy, no matter if it's a Metal Gear or whoever, make sure you do some research before actually purchasing it, because you fuck around and buy something thinking that it can do one thing and it definitely does something totally different. Such as also his legs, they're on ball joints, meaning look how loose that is. He can't hold a pose. I can try to stand him up, he'll stand straight up, but if I actually put him in a pose where it consists of him bending his legs, I'm pretty much screwed. So this is why you want to be careful on what you purchase, unless you know that you're getting you're getting this type of quality for your money. So be sure, if you want to spend some ridiculous amount that's on eBay or whatever the case may be, make sure this is what you really want to purchase. You don't want to just buy something and be out of $100 or $200 for something that you wasn't expecting, to be highly pissed, because the only fault is going to be on is yourself if you don't research. So hopefully all the stuff I just told you is a huge help. Once again, thank you for coming to my page, checking out my reviews. I will have more up, and talk to y'all later. Continue to collecting shits.